This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And happy Saturday morning, everyone. This is the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. Let's make today a great day. How do you make your day great? You already know. You appreciate the good that's around you. When you see the goodness that's around you in the world and in your life, you can't help but say, things are good. Let's make it better. Let's make today a great day. Let's appreciate all that we have. But sometimes, every now and again, somebody says, I can't find anything good. It's all rotten. And sometimes we go through very difficult periods. That's true. That's true of all of us. When those times come, make good, do nice things for other people in any of a million different ways. And then there will be good that you can notice. And that will help you make your day and the days of the people around you also great. All right, so we're here today to talk Yankee baseball as we do every single week. The Dr. Sem Yankees Show is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia is a small independent publisher bringing you quality books from quality authors, including great baseball titles such as Roy White, From Compton to the Bronx, The Least Among Them, The 100 Most Important Baseball Players in History, and The Bat Boy and the Unbreakable Record. Artemisia Books also published my wonderful novel. If you have not read Scattering the Ashes, you're missing something. I'm telling you, unequivocally, you are 100 million billion %. It's a story of love and faith and family, baseball, running, so much. Take the time, get Scattering the Ashes, and you won't be sorry. And of course, my newest book, 365.2, has been getting rave reviews. People who have read it have told me it was inspiring, it was motivational, it was terrific. In this book, I use my own life and running to show that we can set goals and reach them, even if they're hard. I set out in 2022 to run every single day for the year. I didn't miss a day. And this book tells that story. I did a workshop on that last week in Wyckoff. I did a book presentation on The Least Among Them in Ridgefield. I did another book presentation on The Least Among Them in Montville. I've been very busy with book talks and author events. It's been great. And I want to thank all those wonderful people who came to see me and engage with me and talk to me about my books and about the Yankees and about baseball. It's been wonderful. Talk about trying to make each day great. My goodness, that's a great way. Hey, if you want to see my books and other great books, they're also on Amazon and all those things. But the place to go is apbooks.net. There it is, right there. Take a look. Go to apbooks.net and you'll see all the great books that Artemisia Publishing has. They've been doing this for over 20 years. All right, so when I write on Start Spreading the News, my Yankee site, we've been around since 2017, by the way. It's amazing how long Start Spreading the News has been out there putting out great baseball and Yankee content at least 3 times a day with new articles every single day, and every article free. Try to do that with most of the other sites, even the newspapers. You can't. And yet we do it for free every day and always have. And we don't take any money from gambling sites. How's that for a whole different way of approaching the internet and talking about baseball? But when I write on Start Spreading the News and I write truths, people sometimes get mad at me and they push back and they say, "How can you say that?" One of the things I said years ago was the Yankees should not, after his two very good, outstanding seasons, re-sign DJ LeMahieu. He was getting past his prime. Second basemen don't age well. I did a study on that. I wrote all about it. And I said he is going to want lots of money. I think he eventually signed for $90 million, $15 million a year. And that money is going to get in the way of the Yankees being able to do what they need to do, especially as he gets older. He's not going to be the great player he just was. And boy, have people, even when I made that comment, and ever since, whenever I bring it up, they get upset. How can you not love DJ? DJ's great. Okay. I never said I didn't like DJ. I like him. I think he's a very good ball player. I appreciate what he did. But he wasn't the player the Yankees needed to sign at that time. The Yankees got all caught up in what he had just done and were blinded by his success. And so they signed him for 6 more years. I think we have 3 more years of that contract. It's a lot of years for a guy who, since he signed that contract, has an OPS plus of 101. That's right. An average player has an OPS plus of 100. And DJ LeMahieu's OPS plus over the period since he signed the contract is 101. He's been an average hitter. Now, someone made the comment, he's an average hitter except when he's not. Right. I'm the president of the United States, except when I'm not. I'm also the Yankees owner, general manager, and starting pitcher, and a Hall of Fame pitcher at that, except when I'm not. I mean, what does that even mean? Yes, every player, even the worst players, have great games. Even the guy hitting 200 sometimes goes 3 for 3, and he has a great game. But in the end, we don't say, well, that guy had a good game, so he's better than his 200 batting average. Oh, that guy had a good week, so he's better than his 101 plus OPS, 101 OPS plus. We don't do that. We look at the overall statistics. And the overall statistics say he's been really nothing more than an average hitter. And the other problem, he gets hurt a lot. This wasn't hard to see. I saw it miles away. We also saw miles away the fact that Aaron Judge gets hurt a lot. My goodness. If you say that out loud with some Yankee fans, it's like blasphemy. How dare you say that Aaron Judge gets hurt? But he does. Often. And when he gets hurt, he misses time. That doesn't mean I don't like Aaron Judge. That doesn't mean I don't think Aaron Judge is a very good baseball player. That doesn't mean I don't think Aaron Judge is a superstar, but he gets hurt a lot. DJ LeMahieu gets hurt a lot. And when the Yankees built the team, even though they had the chance to get players and make moves so that those injuries might not be as devastating, injuries we could all see a mile away, They didn't. But this is the bigger point. Once you decide as a franchise to sign a guy who's entering his decline, like DJ LeMahieu, for $15 million a year for I think it was 6 years, once you decide to do that, if your goal is to win a championship, since you're overpaying for that guy, you have to realize, and he's not the only one, of course, but you have to realize that you then still have to go beyond that many times in order to build a championship roster. I'm all for DJ LeMahieu getting $15 million a year. I wouldn't mind if the Yankees paid him $25 million a year. They could pay him $50 million a year. I couldn't care less. I'm all for people earning as much money as they can legally. That's why I'm not a big fan of the gambling and all the stuff that goes on around that on the website, and we'll get to the gambling in a minute. But if the team is going to pay big money to players, they have to then say, well, if we're paying DJ LeMahieu, who might be a reserve, and that's really what their goal was with DJ LeMahieu, and we're going to pay Aaron Judge $40 million a year, well, in order to build that quality roster, we can't let that luxury tax get in the way of us putting the best players on the field. I said these things at the time. I said it when Judge was signed. Give Judge $400 billion a year. I don't care, as long as you don't then say, well, our salary structure is high enough. We don't want to spend $300 million, so we can't get the other players we need. This is where the Yankee problem lies. They spend like crazy, and then instead of like figuring out we have this much money for this, like a house might do, a family might do, as they figure out their budget for the month, for the year, or whatever, we have this much money. We'll spend this much on groceries, this much on entertainment, this much on clothing, this much on heat and electricity, or whatever. The Yankees just sort of spend hog wild and then add up the numbers and go, oh, we spent too much. Right, but you don't have a left fielder. They do this year, but last year they didn't. That's okay. We can't afford a left fielder now. We spent too crazily on the other stuff. Oh, well. This year, the Yankees didn't fully address their needs for starting pitching, and they didn't fully address their needs for a backup infielder of any quality, and they didn't address the need for a leadoff hitter. But they got to the magic number, $300 million or thereabouts, and said, nope, we're not paying anymore. You shouldn't have to spend $300 million on a team. And that's true. But once you've paid Garrett Cole, whatever he's getting, $36 million a year, and once you're paying Carlos Rodon, whatever he's getting, like $26 million a year, and once you're paying Aaron Judge $40 million a year, and Giancarlo Stanton $20-something million a year, and Anthony Rizzo $17-something million a year, and DJ LeMahieu $15 million a year, well, that adds up pretty quickly. And that's not the full team. That's the point. Now, someone said on the site, they wrote in the comments, the Yankees got an A from this website or this analyst somewhere for their off season. And my comment to that, and this will be in an article I have coming up, but my comment to that is, sure, If my neighbor makes some nice changes to their home, they re-landscape, so they have beautiful new trees and bushes. They put a new roof on their house, so it looks great. Maybe they put a pool in the backyard. Maybe there's a fountain there and a waterfall. If they come over and they say, "How are we doing?" I'd say, "That's an A plus, man. You have done a great job." But that doesn't mean the job is done. Go into that house. Maybe their kitchen is a mess. Maybe they don't have a stove. Maybe they have mold in the basement. Who knows? There's a million other things that homes need. And there were things the Yankees needed. And so the fact that they get an A from some analyst somewhere for the moves they made, and they were great. Verdugo, Stroman, Trent Grisham, Juan Soto. Those were great moves. A lot of the bullpen arms that they picked up over the winter. That's all going to pay off well, I believe. But they still didn't get a leadoff hitter. They still didn't get someone to make sure that Aaron Judge doesn't play center field. They still don't have a backup first baseman. They still don't have a starting third baseman. The Yankees' idea to take DJ LeMahieu after he has not really performed well for 3 years and then say, and not been healthy, "You're going to be our starting third baseman," was just foolish at best. It made no sense at best. And DJ's hurt. And I know the people who apologize for everything the Yankees do say, "Well, it's not his fault. He fouled a ball off his foot. He's not injury prone. It's not Aaron Judge's fault. He ran into a wall. He's not injury prone." But unfortunately, when injuries seem to follow players, no matter what they do, then they're injury prone. That's just the way it is. And it's not wrong to take the time to notice. And if I can notice these things with the way the Yankees build their team, why can't they? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say having Aaron Judge as your center fielder is a bad idea. Now, might he have to fill in there from time to time? Sure. But to go into a season saying he is going to be the guy is a bad idea because he's going to wear down, because he always does. And saying DJ LeMahieu is going to be our third baseman and our backup second baseman and our backup first baseman, that's just absurd. It's insane. And then when these guys get hurt, and they say, "Oh, who would have seen it? I saw it. Others have seen it." It's not that hard to find. It's not that hard to see. But it is interesting when I tell truths like this, when I write truths like this on Start Spreading the News. Like people, they're allergic to the truth. They push back against the truth. You can't say that DJ isn't a great hitter. He hasn't been a great hitter for the last 3 years. A 101 OPS plus, the definition of mediocre. You can't say that. You can't say he gets hurt all the time. Yes, because it's true. And Aaron Judge does as well. That doesn't mean we don't appreciate those players. But when a guy like Cody Bellinger is available, who would be a better backup first baseman for Anthony Rizzo, would be another big bat in the lineup, would be the guy to make sure that Aaron Judge doesn't play center field, and would be a guy that would have made some of the other players like Everson Pereira, maybe Trent Grisham, maybe Alex Verdugo, available in a trade to get someone to be another pitcher, top pitcher in the rotation, and you don't do it. And then Aaron Judge says in March, "Boy, am I tired and boy, am I worn out." You say, well, I saw that coming. It wasn't hard to assume that Aaron Judge wasn't going to play the whole season. Now, maybe he will. Opening day is next week. Maybe he will, but I sure tend to doubt it. All right. Lots of other things to talk about. I do want to touch on the Shohei Ohtani gambling situation. I don't know anything about it other than what everyone else has read, of course. It's not a good look. But here's the problem. Baseball and all the major sports, but baseball and gambling have decided to get married. They're interlocking. You can't have one without the other now. You can't watch or listen to a Yankees game without hearing a billion ads for betting. You can't go to Yankee Stadium without seeing a million ads and billboards for betting. Sports are exciting and fun if they are legitimate. This is why every right-thinking person, every person who ever thought about this logically, until the last numbers of years, when instead of thinking logically, they thought with their pocketbooks, they thought with their wallets, they saw the big money from betting and decided to jump into bed with all these betting apps. Until that point, every smart, reasonable person said we cannot have our sport and gambling tied together, because one of these days there's going to be a scandal. And that scandal is going to show that somewhere along the line, something happened in a game and it was rigged, whether it was the game or the play or the event. And once that happens, once we find out that the players or the umpires or the grounds crew or the equipment manager or anybody affiliated with a team was involved in rigging the game so that an outcome will happen so other people can get money, the integrity of the entire sport is gone. And the interest then in watching that sport is gone. When Reggie Jackson hit those 3 home runs in the 77 World Series, they were real. That's what made them magical. If we found out that the pitchers threw the ball to a certain spot and Reggie knew what was coming and then hit the home runs, it's not so magical anymore. When Derek Jeter made that great catch and fell into the stands, that was great because it was amazing and no one could have seen that coming. When Derek Jeter made the flip play and they got out Jeremy Giambi trying to score to help save a big victory for the Yankees, that was exciting because it was real. David Cohn's no-hit, perfect game actually, right? Yeah, perfect game was exciting because it was real. If it were scripted, if the other players purposefully got out, if the umpire was purposely calling pitches strikes that weren't strikes, just so that would happen, it's not so magical anymore. Once the integrity of the game is compromised, once people find out, and hopefully it's never happened yet, and hopefully it never will, but once people find out that an event, a sport, was rigged, there's no more purpose to watching because you're not watching what's the best competing at their best against each other. You're watching people acting out a script or playing a part in a game that's not legitimate, that has a predetermined outcome, or you know that whatever they do, somebody else is going to do something to make sure that that didn't work, and that doesn't influence the game. And if any of those things become true, the sport has no more meaning. If I want to watch a movie about a baseball game, I'll watch a movie. That's scripted. But when I watch the Yankees, and when I watch any sport, and I don't watch a whole lot of other sports, but when I watch the Yankees, I want to know that what I'm seeing is real. If Jonathan Loizaga walks the bases loaded and then loses the game, I want to know that that's real. And if Jonathan Loizaga comes in and strikes out the side, I want to know that that's real. And if Anthony Rizzo hits a walk-off, I want to know that that was real. And this is why, once the questions come in and people start questioning the integrity of the game, and once one of the big stars is involved in gambling, well, what was going on? Was he giving inside information? Now, I don't know if any of that's true. You can read the articles as well as I do. No one really knows yet. But once there even becomes the hint of a scandal, people start to doubt the integrity of the sport. And once that happens, the whole allure of what sports are about is gone. And everybody, until a couple of years ago, understood that you can't have gambling tied to the game. That's what the Black Sox scandal was all about. That's why those guys were suspended for life. That's why Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. Because you can't have any question on the game's integrity. And when gambling gets involved and people can make tons of money based on the outcome of a game, or even worse with prop betting, a single pitch or a single play, then the opportunity for people to do the wrong thing becomes heightened. If I'm a fringe pitcher, now I wouldn't do it, but if there were a fringe pitcher and he came into the game and someone said, if the fifth pitch you throw is a ball, it's really not going to affect the outcome of the game. It's just one pitch. If the fifth pitch you throw is a ball, that might be worth a couple $100,000 or whatever. I don't know how that would all work, and if I'm a fringe major leaguer and I've toiled my whole life making terrible money in the minor leagues, and someone offers me some type of a big payday if I just throw one pitch out of the strike zone because of a prop bet that someone might be betting that that's going to be a ball or a strike or something, I might be tempted to do it. And once things like that happen, the integrity of the sport goes away. I hope Ohtani's innocent. I hope this was all just a big mistake, whatever it is. But we saw with the Ohtani situation very clearly that it's a very small step for gambling to take hold of a sport. And again, once that happens, the sport's integrity is ruined forever. All right, my friends, right on time. That's the end of the half an hour. I'll be back here again Monday night with the great EJ Fagan for the Start Spreading the News podcast. In the meantime, go to startspreadingthenews.blog, the world's single greatest Yankee site, without a doubt. No one does what we do. We are the best. We have the best writing. We have the best coverage. We have the best writers. We have the most interesting topics. We put out more articles than anybody else, and we keep it free so that other people can enjoy reading what we write and engaging with us and others to talk baseball. While other people are putting it behind paywalls and saying, you can't read except if you give me more money, we open it all up. And while others say, well, we're going to take lots of money from gambling sites so we can get rich, we say, don't give us your money. I don't want it. I'd rather have my site perfectly clean. Have a great day.